Hi everybody, welcome back to the Vegan Sweet Addiction. I'm Valentine, a vegan French pastry chef. Today I'm making a real summer classic and worldwide notorious dessert, a vegan tropical fruit pavlova. The pavlova is a meringue-based, fresh and creamy dessert created over 100 years ago. It has a crispy and soft meringue topped with whipped cream and fresh fruits. It was created in honor of the ballerina Anna Pavlova after one of her tours to Australia and New Zealand in the 20s. But since then, it has been a known source of argument between the two nations, since no one knows for sure who invented it. If you're an Aussie or a New Zealander and know the answer, leave a comment down below. Using tropical fruit in a light and pillowy dessert is quite sensational. For this recipe, we're going to use coconut, pineapple, passion fruit and lime. And for today I'm going to use some basil leaf. You could also use mint, choose your preferred one. The day before, you need to prepare your aquafaba. If you're cooking your own chickpeas, you need to start with that step. But if you're using canned chickpeas, as I do, you can start at the second step by reducing the aquafaba. You're going to start by taking the water from 1 can of chickpeas and pour it in a pan to reduce it to approximately 1/3 of a cup, 80 ml, around 5 minutes on medium-low, and put the can of coconut milk in the fridge overnight. This recipe will not work if you're using reduced-fat coconut milk or carton beverage coconut milk. Pavlova is a very particular type of meringue. It should be crispy on the outside and the middle should be marshmallowy and soft. Let's get started. 80 ml of reduced aquafaba, 1 pinch of salt, 150 g of castor sugar, 1 tablespoon of vinegar, 2 teaspoons of cornstarch, half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I'm going to preheat my oven to 130 Celsius or 270 Fahrenheit. The key to great aquafaba meringue is to use a spotlessly clean bowl. So I'm using my stand mixer here, but you could easily do it with an electric and whisk. To make the meringue, we will whisk the aquafaba and 1 pinch of salt in a mixer until it forms stiff peaks around 3 to 5 minutes. Then add the sugar 1 tablespoon at a time. Once all of the sugar is in, you can turn it to high speed. And we're going to keep on whipping until the meringue is shiny, glossy and hold stiff peaks and the sugar is dissolved around 2 to 3 minutes later. I will then turn it to low speed. Now we need to add our final few ingredients. And to start, we're going to add the apple cider vinegar. You could also use lemon juice, it's going to help stabilize your meringue. And at this stage, I'm also adding some vanilla extract and cornstarch and whisk for 1 more minute. I'm going to transfer the meringue to the middle of a baking tray lined with a pastry mat and shape the pavlova. Now we need to start shaping this. So I'm going to use a palette knife. I'm going to start by bouncing it around to create a round shape. And then we're going to scoop a little bit from the center to get that classic pavlova middle. Now it's looking a little bit like a mess, but guys, if you want to put it in the oven like this, go ahead and do it. But I want to get it nice and smooth. I'm going to show you how I do it. I'm spreading the side to get them pretty and flat. And now that I have done the side, I'm going to go on with the top. And again, I'm going to smooth it out. And once you're happy with the look of it, we are then going to add some texture to the side. I'm going to drag the palette knife up the side at an angle and across the top like that. I made 1 big pavlova, but you could also make around 6 to 8 little pavlovas. I'm going to place my pavlova in the oven at 130 Celsius. After 10 minutes, I need to lower the heat to 100 degrees Celsius and leave it for 1.5 hours. Then, final instruction. Once the 1.5 hours are passed, you're going to turn off the oven and leave the pavlova to cool down in it without ever opening the oven door. If you take your meringue out of the oven before it has the time to cool completely, you're in danger of getting a crack in it. And we want our pavlova to be as beautiful as possible, with no crab, no lumps and no bumps. It might take a few hours, but trust me, it's worth it. Be patient. Now that my pavlova has cooled down completely, I'm going to start prepping my fruits. 1/3 of a pineapple, the zest and juice of 1 lime, 1 passion fruit. Cut 1/3 of the pineapple into 1 cm cubes. Cut the passion fruit into 2 and take out the seeds. Zest the lime and leave half of it on the side for the whipped coconut cream. Cut the basil leaf, put everything in a bowl and mix with a big spoon. Leave it in the fridge until we're ready to use it. We are then going to make our coconut whipped cream. 200 g of coconut cream, 20 g of maple syrup, half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, the zest of half a lime. I'm going to remove my coconut milk from the fridge. So now I'm going to place the hardened cream in my stand mixer. You can very easily do this with an electric hand whisk if you prefer. Beat for 2 to 3 minutes until it's fluffy. Then add the vanilla, the lime zest and the maple syrup and whisk for 1 more minute. At this stage, don't over whisk or it could cause separation. Now that we have everything ready, we're going to assemble the pavlova. I'm going to pour my coconut whipped cream, but you could also pipe it, do as you wish. I'm going to drain my fruit. If you put your fruit with the liquid on top of your pavlova, it's going to soak it and make it mushy. You don't want that. But keep the juice, it's really tasty and great for summer drinks or cocktail. Place your drained fruit on top of the cream. I'm going to add a few basil leaves and a little more lime zest on top. It's time to try it, and believe me, it tastes as good as it looks. That looks perfect. Look at this marshmallowy and gooey inside and crispy outside. That's everything you want in a pavlova. Let's try it.
Before the recipe, I never heard about pavlova. It's really weird because apparently it's a pretty popular dessert.
He doesn't know much about dessert, apparently.
Yeah, I know nothing. Let's try it. It's fresh.
It's just like a vanilla, creamy and tangy cloud.
I don't know who created the dessert, but thumbs up, guy.
Thumbs up
Yeah.
to Aussies or New Zealander.
We don't know.
If you enjoyed this video, please like it, comment it, share it and subscribe. It would be awesome. If you want to watch other of my dessert recipes from all over the world but vegan, go check out this playlist. Like always, everything you will need to recreate this recipe is down below. Bye, and I hope to see you soon.